What is going on, YouTube? And welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. And in today's episode, I'm gonna be going through the Rams schedule, the 2020 Rams schedule, giving you my overall thoughts, who I think they're gonna beat, who I think they're gonna lose to, just giving you my overall record predictions, season predictions for the Los Angeles Rams. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with, and let me know your record prediction down below in the comment section. So let's get right into it. So week one at home versus the Chicago Bears. This might be a surprise, but I'm gonna take Chicago in week one on the Sunday night game. This may surprise some people because a lot of people are expecting the Rams to come out firing. But my thing is right now, week one's always weird. Week one's always weird. I think that Bears team is going to be able to run the Rams. And I think that Bears defense is going to confuse Matthew Stafford a little bit, maybe. Maybe with the new system and such. Maybe that Bears defense is just enough, to mess with that offense just a little bit. They're just getting back into it. They're just, Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford getting used to all his new weapons and all that kind of jazz. So, I'm going to give the Chicago Bears the week one upset over the Los Angeles Rams. So, week two, they come home to play the Indianapolis Colts off of a primetime loss in Sunday Night Football. But I'm going to give them a win in Indianapolis. I think this is not a great matchup for the Colts. Yeah, the Colts can run well, but, the Colts quarterback isn't in the greatest of situations. Kind of similar to the Bears, but, the Rams, are going to be more prepared this time for a similar team. Um, if the quarterback and Carson Wentz plays pretty darn good, I think the Colts are gonna be pretty darn good. If he doesn't play good at all, Colts are gonna be eh. But I don't think this is a good matchup for the Colts. So I'm gonna take the Rams in week two. Week three, they come home to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of reigning, defending Super Bowl champions. I think this is gonna be a really good game. This is definitely worthy of a primetime game, but it's a Sunday night 425 game, so it's sort of a primetime game, but nonetheless, this is gonna be a really fun game. You know, Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay by now should maybe starting to click a little bit. Maybe that Tampa Bay offense team gets sloppy, has one of those sloppy games. Um, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna take Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Week 3 over the Los Angeles Rams. Week 4 at home versus the Arizona Cardinals. I think this is gonna be another good game, man. I think this whole division is really darn good. The whole NFC West division, and this is their first matchup within the NFC West. Um, four teams that can definitely make the playoffs. Four teams that can all make the playoffs in one season, which is possible, especially with the new rule. Um, you know, just really good teams, man. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the Arizona Cardinals going into next season. I'm not as high on them as other people are. Um, don't like I don't like Cliff Kingsbury's system in the NFL. I don't think it fits Kyler Murray well. Um, I'm just not a big fan of this Cardinals team, man. Yeah, they have some nice playmakers here and there, but just the additions of J.J. Watt and A.J. Green. They did draft Rondé Moore, Zaven Collins. Yeah, they definitely do have some playmakers, but it's kind of a team where it's kind of a boom or bust team. It's either they're gonna win 11, 12 games, or they're gonna lose, or they're gonna win 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 games. I just think it's one of those teams. I don't think they're gonna lose as many as like 12 games, but you know, I think this is a team that is a little overhyped right now. I think we need to calm down a little bit. Week 5, they travel to, and yeah, I'm actually going to give the Rams the win at home versus the Arizona Cardinals, but yeah, not a big fan of the Arizona Cardinals system over there with the way Cliff Kingsbury is running things over. I'm not a big fan. I do like Kyler Murray, but then I'm kind of on the fence about him too. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna give the Rams that win in Week 4 in their first NFC West matchup. Week 5, they travel to Seattle on a Thursday night game. Not a good place to play on Thursday night if you're not Seattle. Seattle, pretty darn good team on Thursday night. Prime time in general, at home especially. Um, so I'm gonna take Seattle in this one. Do I think Seattle's a better team? No, but it's a division matchup, and I think that Russ is gonna do just enough. I think maybe they're gonna run a little bit. I think their offensive line is a little better than some people think now. Um, Seattle's defensive, it depends on how that on their defense wants to play. Um, I'm gonna take the Seattle Seahawks in the first matchup. They always find a way on prime time, always, no matter what. Week 6 at the New York Giants. This is gonna be a really good game, a really fun game. I'm gonna take the Rams in this one because I don't think that the wide receivers were the Giants' problem last year. I think the Giants' problem was getting the ball to the receivers. I think that was a big thing. Um, the Giants, Saquon Barkley's coming back. That defense has a few more additions added on to it. But I think that this Rams team is a little more further along. They have the QB. Um, they have weapons. A running back, Cam Akers. I'm really a big Cam Akers fan. Akers, however you want to say it. I'm not a huge fan of their offensive line, but I think a decent gets the job done. Definitely aging, but at least Andrew Whitworth is aging at least. I'm gonna take the Rams in this one though. I think that offensive line is gonna be able to hold up that New York Giants defense line a little bit. I think the Rams are gonna take this one. Week 7, they come back home to play the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna give the Rams a win here against Matthew Stafford's former team. Um, you know the the lone bright spot for me on the Detroit Lions is their offensive line. I really like their offensive line. They have Taylor Decker, they have Penny Sewell, Frank Ragnow. They definitely have some solid players on the offensive line, but outside of that offensive line, man, you have a very on and off quarterback, hot and cold quarterback. Defense is on the edge, is on the fence, not the greatest. Wide receivers aren't enough to threat you, to be a threat. I do like the tight end though. I think the running back has some potential. Um, and then yeah, I'm giving the win there. Week 8 at the Houston Texans. Not gonna spend too much time on this one. I'm gonna give the Rams a win on this one as well. Not a huge fan of the Houston Texans team. I think this is a team that's kind of a hot mess right now. So got the Rams out. I got the Rams in that one. Even though the Rams did find a way to lose to the Jets, but that was with Jared Goff, and it is as I said, Jared Goff is is a hot and cold quarterback. So I still think that the Rams are going to come away with this. I don't think that's going to be any weird thing that's going to happen this year because they got a more consistent QB. You know, Week 9 at home versus Tennessee Titans. The new look Tennessee Titans with Julio Jones. Not really new look. Kind of just added on to that monster that they have there. They got AJ Brown, they got Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, and now they add Julio Jones. But they did lose Jonnu Smith. They did, you know, Corey Davis, but they did sign Josh Reynolds. They have some decent players there, man. Um, their offensive line is okay. Derrick Henry definitely helps that offensive line out, and Ryan Tannehill with his mobility that definitely helps it out. I see a lot of people crapping on Tannehill. I get that. Look at the running back he has, but look at some of the other quarterbacks with awesome running backs. How did all those other quarterbacks do with CMC when he had that crazy year with Carolina? Do we even remember who the quarterbacks were that year? Let's be honest. What was it, Teddy? No, I don't know. I don't even think it was Teddy Bridgewater. Come on, we don't even remember the quarterback from that year. Um, and Mariota could have done the same with Henry, but he didn't. And the fact is, Tannehill's a top 10 quarterback. I think, man. Whether you want to believe it or not, I think so. So, um, but this is a really fun matchup for the Rams and the Titans. I kind of got a little off course there talking about the Titans, but this is a Sunday night game as well. So, this is gonna be a really fun game. But thing is, the Rams linebacker group and their run defense last year was not the greatest. It was not the greatest whatsoever. So, you know, if you struggle to stop the run and you're playing Derrick Henry, I'm gonna give the Titans the edge in this one, man. Yeah, the Tennessee Titans defense may not be able to stop anything with Jack Squat next year, but they did add some players. People are failing to recognize that they added some players, and you can't just look past that they added some players. Yeah, maybe there's excuses for each players. There's a possibility for each player to not play good, but that's what every darn player, every darn year. You know, is this player gonna have an injury? Is he just gonna take a step back? That happens to players every darn year, man. So what it is, um, yeah. And then week 10, they travel to San Francisco for another primetime game, a Monday night primetime game at that. Um, the Niners are an okay team. They're a team that doesn't really have that pop. Um, will they split with the Rams? I don't know. Um, I think that the Rams have the defense to stop Jimmy G or Trey Lance, whoever it is. Yeah, Trey Lance is a better runner, but is he as good as passing, or is he better at passing? I'm not sure yet. Um, you know, I think I'm going to take the Rams in this one in San Fran on Monday night. So that's what I got for that one. Week 11, bye week. Week 12 at the Green Bay Packers. Um, I think this is a game that the Rams can win as well. Of course, they can win every game on their schedule, just as any team can. But um, with the addition of Matthew Stafford, as we all know, the Rams are definitely a contender for a few years to come now, especially with Sean McVay, the mastermind he is. But against Green Bay, one of the best passing defenses, are they going to be able to supplement that with a run game? Maybe. Green Bay's run defense did get better down the stretch last season, sort of. I mean, they did pretty darn well versus Derrick Henry. Um, I don't. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Packers in this one. I think the Packers are gonna beat the Rams. I don't think the Rams are gonna get the revenge from last year, so I'm taking the Packers in this one. Week 13, week 13, they're at home versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is gonna be really, a really interesting game. This is gonna be an awesome test for Trevor Lawrence and this Rams defense, Jalen Ramsey, that Darius Williams, Aaron Donald, and the list goes on. That Rams defense is loaded. Even though the loss of John Johnson just kills, in my opinion, and Brandon Staley. People forget they did lose Brandon Staley. I think that's going to affect them a little more than people may think. Just of how smart he was when calling defensive plays, how smart he was when it came to that. So you know, but I'm going to take the Rams in this one. I think the Rams are the team that's more further along. I think, the Jaguars are going to be decent this year, better than some people may think. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be, quite awesome, as everyone does. If he's half of anything what everyone thinks he is coming out, the Jaguars team is going to be a force to reckon with, especially with that offense. And I think the defense is a little better than some people may think. So, this Jaguars team is not as bad as you think. They're a little more further along than you think. And I think they're going to be a playoff bubble team. A playoff team, I'm not sure, but a playoff bubble team, I think so. But but of course, I'm going to give the Rams. I think they're further along. Week 14 at the Arizona Cardinals, another Monday night game, primetime game. Um, you know, who do I have winning the first time around? Either Rams winning at home. But I'm still not a big fan of that Arizona team, man. I'm really not. You know, I think I'm gonna take the Rams to sweep the Cardinals. Yeah. Um, I'm not as big as a fan on the Cardinals as many people are, as I said earlier. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that one because I talked about the Cardinals earlier quite a bit. But let's move on to Week 15 at home versus the Seattle Seahawks. Um, the Seahawks are, as I talked about them earlier, it's a weird team. They won at home Thursday night primetime game, and now they travel to LA to play the Rams. 4:25 on Sunday. I'm gonna take the Seattle Seahawks. No, I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Rams. I'm gonna have them splitting. Um, Nonetheless, Seattle's gonna be a really good team offensively with Russ, DK, Tyler, Carson, um, and a few others. Trent Brown. No, not Trent Brown. I know they have a lineman, but I always forget his name. I always draw a blank on their best lineman. He is getting old though, but they did make some additions, so whatever they're doing what they need to do. But I'm gonna give the Rams a win this time around. Week 16 at the Minnesota Vikings. Um, this is a game where Dalvin Cook can maybe have a game against the Rams, but Kirk Cousins is also gonna need to be able to throw it a little bit, because you can't just run against the Rams. As I said earlier, when Titans game came up, you can't just run against the Rams. Um, the Rams, of course, Aaron Donald, the list goes on with how many people they have that can stop the run effectively. But, the run on their defense is kind of, their weakness. It kind of is, because their linebackers are not, the best. So, filling the gaps is, just not the best. but I'm gonna take the Rams against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not a big fan of the Minnesota Vikings defense. I do think that this is gonna be a really good game though. I think the Vikings are a bit underrated, but at the same time, I don't know. Like the Vikings are such a weird team, man. They're such a weird team. Week 17 at the Baltimore Ravens. Man, another really fun game. But I'm gonna give the Baltimore Ravens the win here. I'm gonna give that edge to Lamar Jackson. He can mess with those linebackers as I was talking about, and I think he'll be able to throw just enough. I think he'll be able to do just enough in the air. Um, and I think that Baltimore defense may mess with Matthew Stafford a little bit. And the offense, yeah, that offense is gonna be in full swing by now. But I think they're gonna have a hiccup. Week 18, they're at home versus the San Francisco 49ers. Um, I believe I gave the Rams the first time around. I'm gonna give it to the Niners this time. The Niners are, like I said, they're a weird team, man, as well. There's so many like teams in the NFL that have so much potential, but has that bust factor as well. So the whole NFL is really hard to predict, as we all know. So, um, ah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go with the Rams here. No, no, I'm gonna go with San Fran. I think the Rams will split with two teams and sweep one. I think they'll sweep the Cardinals. I think that's the team that has the best shot to sweep. Um, I think they split with the Niners, and I think they split with the Seahawks. Um, I'm mainly taking the Niners the second time around because of Kyle Shanahan, because his system is amazing. I forgot to talk about that the first time around. I absolutely love Kyle Shanahan. Um, he's an awesome coach. He's one of my favorite coaches in the league. He's really darn good. With all the injuries he had last year, and he was still, really making that team look decent for how many injuries they had. They had street guys, practice, like in that Packers game. Their whole wide receiver group were like practice squad guys that had no clue how the quarterback likes to play. Quarterback had no clue how they like to run their routes, how they like to do things. So it was tough, but Shanahan still made some pretty darn good games out of those. So I'm gonna give the Niners the win the second time around. So let me know what you guys think. I thank you guys for tuning in to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. And talking about the Rams schedule here, giving you my overall thoughts, and I thank you for tuning in. So as always, catch you guys next time.